Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a 12-year-old shot and killed is laid to rest.
Sadness because his daughter was here and that I failed him to keep her safe.
Emotional reaction tonight as advocates call for change.
I love this work. I really want to return as soon as I can.
And Representative Comey in court for the first time after her DUI arrest. Her message to Connecticut residents about sobriety.
It's the light at the end of the tunnel we have all been waiting for. Some sunshine returning just in time for the weekend. The changes ahead coming up.
Plus, pandemic downgrade. The World Health Organization saying COVID is no longer a global health emergency.
Pez heads unite. It is a big weekend in the world of Pez. I'm Jim Altman. The story from Orange ahead on the Fox 61 News.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. New tonight, State Representative Robin Comey in court for the very first time this morning.
Comey is facing a DUI charge after flipping her car near the state capitol back in March.
Fox 61's political reporter Emma Woolford spoke with Comey this morning. Emma joins us outside Hartford Superior Court with what the representative had to say. Emma.
In court today, the judge granted Comey's application to the Impaired Driving Intervention Program. The judge said she feels Comey's taken this situation seriously, already doing more than most people by admitting herself to an inpatient program after the accident. Comey tells me this morning she's grateful for this second chance and looking forward to getting back to work at the Capitol.
Yes, you can.
State Representative Robin Comey stood before a judge in Hartford Superior Court Friday morning for a DUI charge stemming from a car crash in March. The Branford Democrat flipped her Honda Civic on Capitol Avenue in Hartford after hitting a parked car. Police say Comey's blood alcohol level was nearly twice the legal limit at the time. Friday, the judge ruled Comey will enter the state's Impaired Driving Intervention Program. If she's successful, the DUI charge will be dismissed next year.
I think the steps she's taken to address the issues that led to the conduct would allow the court to make a finding that she probably will not offend in the future.
Her attorney, Chuck Tiernan, says Comey suffers from alcohol addiction and entered a 39-day inpatient treatment program immediately following the accident. Friday, Comey saying she's very grateful for this second chance.
I'm ready to move forward. I'm feeling strong.
Speaker of the House Matt Ritter stripped Comey of her committee and leadership assignments in the legislature after the crash. Friday, he released a statement saying Comey seems to be in a good place and he's proud of the work she has put in so far. He added once she has fulfilled her legal obligations, he looks forward to discussing her role at the Capitol and assignments going forward, something Comey is looking forward to also.
I will be returning before the end of the session. This is hard stuff. Life is hard stuff. I'm just grateful to be given another opportunity to serve this great state of Connecticut.
The legislative session ends in less than 5 weeks. Now, in order to complete this impaired driving intervention program, Comey will have to undergo substance abuse treatment and training, as well as take a victim impact panel, and she cannot have any new arrests or drive until her license is reinstated. If she successfully completes this program, she will have those DUI charges dismissed on May 6th, 2024. Reporting in Hartford, Emma Woolford, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Emma, thank you. Well, we are following breaking news out of Plymouth, where police have arrested a man on murder charges in connection with a deadly shooting last night. Police arrested 40-year-old Charles Whitfield Jr. of Terryville on murder charges. Police were called to the Gulf gas station on Main Street and found 42-year-old Philip Harris of New Britain shot multiple times. Police say both men knew one another and are calling the shooting an isolated incident. Whitfield is being held on $2 million bond and was arraigned in court today. Well, celebrating a life cut short and remembering that life, mourners gathering in Bloomfield today to lay to rest a Hartford 7th grader shot and killed in the crossfire of a drive-by shooting 2 weeks ago. Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez has been speaking with loved ones at the funeral for 12-year-old Secret Pierce. She joins us live outside of First Cathedral Church. Samaya.
Jen family members say Secret Pierce was sassy, and independent, they say she believed that the world belonged to her. Today, those family members had to lay her to rest after she was killed on city streets. The body of a 12-year-old girl inside a casket drawn by horses, a scene Pastor Sam Saylor never wanted to see.
I have to go bury my granddaughter.
Secret Pierce was 2 years old at her father Shane's funeral after he was gunned down in Hartford.
His daughter was here, and that I failed him to keep her safe.
Bloomfield's first cathedral overtaken by a sea of purple and black Friday.
Her favorite colors were purple and black.
Celebrating a 7th grader whose life was cut short 2 weeks ago when caught in the crossfire of a drive-by shooting on Huntington Street in Hartford. Her mother overcome, unable to walk.
This is a real trying time for all of us. Secret was 12. I mean, who would have thought that this could happen to her?
Extra security in place, mourners patted down before entering the sanctuary as police continue to search for witnesses and 2 suspects on the run.
Everybody in Hartford right now is holding their kids a little tighter.
U.S. Senators Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy, both friends of Secret's grandparents, known gun violence prevention advocates in the wake of Shane's death.
A young girl who loved cinnamon buns and knitting. She was an innocent victim.
Having lost Shane 10 years ago and now having lost his daughter, there's just no way to understand what that means to a family, and yet they're going to soldier on.
For the family, soldiering on also means defending Secret's name.
She was my favorite sister, and she did not start trouble how people thought she did. She didn't care about what she did or anything, Secret was a fun girl.
And seeking justice.
We're looking for sweet justice, not street justice. We're looking for what we got her father 11 years ago. Be able to stand in front of the judge and hear the assailant, the murderer, apologize before his sentencing.
And Hartford police arrested 2 young males who were also shot in that same incident, but they are still seeking 2 suspects they say got away, one of which they believe pulled the trigger that killed Secret. If you know anything about that incident, you are urged to contact Hartford police. I'm live in Bloomfield. Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
So tragic, Samaya. Thank you very much. All right, we have an update now on the camper who's been missing on the Appalachian Trail in Kent. And apparently that camper has been found safe, we're told. State police say 60-year-old Marta Renee Bowen was located by rescue officials today. She's been missing since Wednesday morning. Bowen is being treated, we're told, by emergency services. Her condition, though, unknown by us at this time.
To New Haven now, where a man was shot and killed on Congress Avenue. It happened just after 6 o'clock this morning. Police say the man, identified as Jitsu Kambu Garden of Meriden, was found on scene and taken to the hospital where he died. Coming up later this hour at 6:30, our Julia LeBlanc will have an update on the investigation and what police are doing to prevent future crimes. To Bloomfield now, where police are investigating a fatal 2-car crash that shut down part of Blue Hills Avenue there this morning. Police say 2 cars crashed into each other around 5:15 this morning, right between West Dudleytown Road and Old Windsor Road. One car hit a pole. The other caught fire after hitting a building. The driver of that car that caught on fire was taken to the hospital. The car that hit the pole had 5 passengers inside of it, 1 pronounced dead on the scene. The other 4 were taken to the hospital. There's still no word on their condition tonight.
Now, the Fox 61 Weather Watch with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank.
Finally, some much needed sunshine and just in time for the weekend. This was our last cooler and at times unsettled day before we really mix things up. And not only is it going to be drier this weekend, but it will be warmer and brighter as well. Taking a look at the radar, you'll see a few scattered showers that are out there. They're really hit or miss in nature. We've got one downpour just heading into Newtown at the moment. As we pivot a little bit farther north, Granby seeing some rain. That's heading towards Simsbury. Will likely end up clipping Canton, and we've got a batch of showers moving into Storrs and Mansfield here at this time, and another one right around Montville. But in between these showers, there are other folks where you see the dark and the black colors here. This is where we're actually seeing more in the way of sunshine. So some areas are getting wet, Others are brighter than they have been in days, and that little bit of sun is a sign of what's ahead. Temperatures right now are in the mid-50s to right around 60 degrees. We'll see temperatures tonight falling back into the low to mid-40s as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. And tomorrow looks like a real beaut. What is this? Sunshine to start, to finish the day, and warmer temperatures up around 70 degrees. And I think not only inland, but also at the Connecticut shoreline as well, with the wind coming out of the north and the northwest. No sea breeze tomorrow. We'll have a few more clouds for the second half of the weekend on Sunday, but overall it's looking bright and even warmer than tomorrow will be. We'll show you the numbers and take a look at how long it lasts. Your full forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. All right, back to that breaking news out of Plymouth, where police have arrested a man in connection with a deadly shooting last night at a gas station.
Fox 61's Gabby Molina joining us live tonight in Plymouth with the breaking details in the case. Gabby?
Jen and Ben, that shooting happened just before 10:30 last night at this Gulf station right off of Main Street in the Terryville section of Plymouth last night. And police now letting us know that they have made an arrest. 40-year-old Charles Whitfield of Terryville has been arrested and charged with murder. Police say that he's being held on a $2 million bond, and he was arraigned in court earlier today. Now, police say that he is accused of shooting and killing 42-year-old Philip Harris of New Britain. Police say that they received multiple 911 calls for that shooting last night. Officers were able to get here very quickly. The police department is just less than 2 minutes up the street from here, so they had a very quick response time and were able to get here quickly. And police did say they took a suspect into custody last evening. Now, we have been talking to people in this area, neighbors who said that they heard gunshots. They shared with us that this is not typical of this neighborhood, and they were very surprised, though they did say there have been a couple of robberies at the couple of gas stations here along Main Street. The victim last night was taken to the hospital and later pronounced dead at the hospital. And again, we are learning today that the suspect has been charged with murder. Now, police say that both of these people were known to each other. They say it's an isolated incident and that they don't believe there is any threat to the public. We are continuing to follow this. And again, like I mentioned, we've been talking to neighbors in this area. We will have much more on that tonight on the Fox 61 News at 10 and 11. Live in Terryville, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Gabby, thank you. Busy Friday afternoon here. Let's go to breaking news out of New Haven. I-95 southbound exit 48 here to I-91 northbound's ramp is closed right now because of an overturned dump truck. Drivers being sent right off of exit 2 onto I-91 northbound because of this crash. Stay with Fox 61 for the latest throughout the show as we learn more about this incident.
And new tonight, the World Health Organization says COVID-19 no longer qualifies as a global emergency.
This move marking a symbolic end to the pandemic that killed at least 7 million people globally.
Fox 61's Brent Harden joining us in studio to explain what that exactly means. Brent.
Yeah, Jen and Ben, this action reverses a declaration that was first made back on January 30th of 2020 when there were no major outbreaks beyond China and, in fact, before the disease had even been named COVID-19. For the past year, World Health Organization experts have been analyzing COVID-19 data to decide when the time is right to lower its level of alarm. Well, yesterday, the experts recommended that COVID-19 no longer qualifies as a global emergency, and the WHO chief said he accepted that advice. However, he says it's important to note this does not mean COVID is over as a health threat.
This virus is here to stay. It's still killing. And it's still changing. The risk remains of new variants emerging that cause new surges in cases and deaths.
The Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, is stepping down at the end of June. She says the end of the health emergency is a good time to make a transition. On her departure, Walensky said in part, "I took on this role with the goal of leaving behind the dark days of the pandemic and moving CDC and public health forward into a much better and more trusted place." The Connecticut Department of Public Health Commissioner also released a statement saying in part, quote, "It's important to note that that despite these announcements that the COVID-19 virus has not been eliminated, residents still should get vaccinated, get the updated booster, use at-home tests, stay home when they're sick, and wear a high-quality mask when respiratory viruses are circulating at high levels in their communities." Here in the U.S., the public health emergency declaration regarding COVID-19 is set to expire on May 11th. And in Connecticut, the commissioner said further plans will be announced next week for the state's COVID-19 recovery. For a timeline on the COVID-19 emergency and its impact here in Connecticut, just head to our website, fox61.com. Ben, Jen, back to you.